benefit, my name is Chris Cognetta. I am the Director of Customer Success at Get My Parking. And this other handsome gentleman is Jordan Schwer. He's our Senior Vice President of North America. And we both work on the value-added reseller platform, which again, shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Today, we're excited to start with our brand new hotel validation solution. As many of you know, hotels are constantly looking for ways to simplify the guest experience while also managing parking operations more efficiently. Our new solution makes it incredibly easy for hotels to offer parking in a seamless digital way, creating value for both the property and the guest. Over the next 20 minutes or so, we'll walk you through how the program works, the key benefits for our hotel clients, and how you can present it as a powerful revenue-driving and customer experience tool. And of course, we'll also have time for Q&A. You'll notice there's a box toward the bottom of the screen if you're not familiar with Zoom. For Q&A, just enter your questions in there, and I'll make sure that Jordan and I get to all of them, and we'll answer all of them. So without any further ado, Jordan, I say let's dive in.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. So, what is the hotel guest validation feature on the Get My Parking platform, specifically focused on ExpressLane? It sets up convenient hotel guest parking with multi-day validations, allows hotel partners to offer free or comped multi-day parking, and validations are enabled via our AI, LPR, or digital validation solutions sent via text. There's a ton of functionality as well as flexibility here, configurable by location as well as by the operator. Another value add with this feature and functionality is that it works across gated and ungated locations using the GMP ExpressLane platform. So I think kind of getting into how does the validation platform work, and touching on kind of why this matters in the hotel setting. Each hotel is going to get their own white labeled portal to validate guest parking. Validations can be provided free of charge or can be included within the overnight cost for a room. Guests can enter their phone number as well as a license plate to validate parking. We're going to kind of walk through what that flow looks like in a demo here. It is AI powered with our LPR solution. Gates open automatically on entry and exit for registered license plates. And we'll talk through a little bit of what those workflows look like for the consumer. The other option is QR validation can be sent to a user's cell phone to allow for an easy and simple exit process, all of which can be automated, removing the need for staffing in the lane, as well as minimizing the touch points for the operator or the hotel manager or front desk employee who's managing the check-in process at each location. So let's just take a quick jump into a demo here. And I want to highlight kind of what the user experience looks like. So overall, what we're looking at right now is the Get My Parking Partner Portal. This is the platform we use to deliver validations in gated and ungated locations across any kind of partner, meaning a tenant or a retailer who needs to have access to the system. Each tenant or retailer will have their own login to the partner portal, and you can pull this up on a desktop or an iPad during the check-in process. Essentially what will happen is the front desk agent will navigate to the guest validation section here that I'm showing. They will have the ability to choose a location if it's a multi-location property or multi hotel property. And this GIF here kind of highlights what the overall user experience is going to be for the consumer. So I can put in a phone number here. I'm just going to use my cell phone number for example purposes. You could add a license plate or not, but it's a pretty simple process. When the guest drives into the location, they get directed to the front desk, and they don't necessarily need to remember their license plate. I'm going to hit continue here. And then I can choose the start date and time as well as the end date and time. And I could also put in an optional room number here. So I'm going to go ahead and set this multi-day pass to start at 1 p.m. on today, the 19th. And we are going to end it. Let's choose Thursday at 1 p.m. as well. And then I'm going to put a room number in here. I think this was actually the last hotel room I stayed in just a few weeks ago. So I'm going to send this text message to my device, and we get a little notification here, the Parker validated QR sent to the user via text message. And then the process you see here going through the screen is essentially what I'll have on my mobile device. I'll be able to click on the short link, and it's going to pull up the digital pass on my device, which I can then scan on the exit lane. I'll also have the ability to add my license plate if I'd like to, right through the web. When adding my license plate through the web, I won't need to scan this QR code on the exit lane anymore. We all know with ExpressLane, the entry process is very simple. Gates open up automatically for everybody. So everybody will come inside and then they'll have the ability to scan this QR code on the exit lane. The QR code can be scanned on the credit card reader at the exit lane. The credit card readers have a small pinhole camera. And then there's signage around there's signage around the credit card machine to highlight to users exactly where to scan. Another benefit of this platform is that we could also set it up in a kiosk mode to do validations in an unmanned manner at a front desk. So this could also be relevant outside the hotel space. It could be relevant in a mixed-use development or large retail shopping environment. Think, potentially even like a movie theater, where guests have a ticket to see the movie, and then they, after having their ticket checked by a front desk attendant, they could then use a kiosk that is locked down in order to validate their session. So we can turn on that functionality per location. It's a great scenario for front desk staff that are lean from an operational perspective, or for after hours type scenarios. So we're going to jump back into the presentation here, and we're going to talk a little bit about what Parkers can do with this validation solution. And we'll just take a quick recap. The operator or the front desk person can tap guest validation in our partner portal. They're going to put in the user's phone number and license plate. They'll set the duration of their stay and the validity of that validation type. And then they'll click send text, and the users have the digital pass already. Once they have the pass, users can do multiple things with it. They're going to be able to see their parking details in the pass. So it shows the start time, the end time, the location information. There's even a link for directions back to that location, walking or driving directions, all based on a Google API that we build into this process. Users can also add this digital pass to their Apple Wallet for ease of use moving forward. And then there's also a help feature built into this that is location specific. That help feature can bring up a phone number or an email address, or it can give some text to tell the user who to go speak to if there's any kind of issues with their pass. So, digging into how, where, and why to deploy this type of solution. The hotel guest validation process can be used in, hotel and vacation rentals. So think VRBOs and Airbnbs. We've seen a lot of success in multiple markets rolling that out. We've also brought this to resort properties all over the US at this point. We've seen some use cases in conference centers as well, where there's a need for multi-day validations for vendors or for specific attendees. And then it could also be rolled out in a downtown urban environment, where you've got different business scenarios where you need to provide multi-day validations to vendors or guests as well. So lots of flexibility across the platform. I want to also kind of dig into how this helps a parking operator, how this can help an asset owner, how this can help a hotel operator. I think some of the sales points and some of the value proposition here, overall, it's a very seamless user experience. We automate the entry through the ExpressLane process, and then the registration aspect is a very short amount of steps for the front desk agent as well as the guest. There's a very simple UI that we've already run through in the partner portal. Minimal touch points, and the kiosk mode is also available for overnight staff as well as front desk check-in teams that are lean and might not have the resources to be able to talk to every single guest. We reduce paperwork as well as calls and any kind of manual coordination. There's also a additional reporting component here. We can automate invoices directly to that hotel tenant or partner on the platform, and we can set up all sorts of rules around complex lease scenarios. So let's say you've got a parking garage that's using the ExpressLane platform, and you've got a hotel across the street that has a lease in that garage for a certain amount of spaces at any one given moment. With our capacity manager, we're able to build some of that logic into the reporting aspect here. So the commercial parking operator can monetize every aspect of their operation, all the way down to the overnight guest scenario, where they're then able to charge overage fees if the hotel is putting more vehicles inside the location than their lease stipulates. Another
Jordan?
aspect of this. Go
Jordan,
ahead, Chris.
sorry, this might be a good point of questions already come in about reporting, and you were just starting to kind of
Yeah,
dig into that a little bit. So sorry to interrupt you, but this may be a good point to bring this up. So
please.
the question is, what reporting will be available? For example, number of guests who are in the deck at a certain time, or any other reporting that could be available.
Yeah, that's a really good question. We've through our capacity manager, we've got the ability to pinpoint the amount of vehicles that have used this location at any specific time within that location, and we can provide a report that shows if the solution has been used or abused over the maximum amount in an allotted time. With the ExpressLane user experience, we open the gate for everybody, so we're not going to prevent guests from getting inside the facility. We also want to ease the exit process, hence how simple the overall UI is for the front desk agent as well as for the guests. But we've got multiple reports built into our reporting platform. It's called GMP IQ. The operator can use the platform from a website called parkingreports.com to pull these reports and then automate any of those reports on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And we can automate subscriptions via Slack and email as well. That's a great question. Thank you, Chris. I think another key feature, from a value proposition perspective with the validation solution here is that it also minimizes costly and time-consuming integrations with PMS systems that historically break. Another, benefit of the platform is that it's also relevant across any type of hotel operation. We've seen this deployed in anything from 3 to 5-star hotels, as well as multiple hotel chains across North America. So with that, I think we're going to jump into the Q&A section here and have a little bit more time. Chris, do we have any questions in our queue so far?
We do. We do have another one that just came in, a really, really good question. And it's, how is abuse or misuse of validations prevented through this solution?
Yeah, so the QR code that is texted to each user is an individual QR code that has anti-passback built into it. So it's only going to be used by that one hotel guest. As kind of follow up to this question, I think we've all seen the scenario where a hotel guest decides to throw a party in their hotel room and they tell all their friends to come visit the hotel and park for free using their hotel key card. This scenario minimizes that situation and puts a little bit more control on the hotel property as well as the operator to make sure that parking isn't abused in those kinds of scenarios. What else do we have?
Let's see here. Hold on. There's some more that have. Can the system be used to push information to occupancy signage?
Absolutely. We would do that through an API with the ExpressLane platform. And so we could push data to any kind of monument signage placed either inside or outside the garage. We've also seen some scenarios where we've partnered with monument signage inside the garage for space and or level counts. So picture a 6-story parking garage and hotel parking is all meant to be on the 4th floor, right? Maybe there's an elevator or a breezeway with access from that level of the garage over to the hotel. We've been able, through an open API, connect to that signage solution and highlight on that sign how many spaces are available in the hotel section of the deck. Now, that does require another vendor to provide the space counts through the location, and we would typically do that with an LPR camera on each level. We all could probably understand some of the complexities around accuracy with those space counts when the interior of the garage is going to be ungated and we're essentially grabbing a license plate as users drive past that camera in order to log that level of data. In the parkingreports.com platform, we also have a real-time occupancy counter that'll essentially show as a pie chart for the operator or the asset owner or the hotel operator, where they can see in real time occupancy counts based on user type in that location.
Thanks, Jordan. There's a whole bunch of questions that are coming in. I love this. I don't even know if we'll be able to get to all of them during the course of this webinar, but we will make sure to answer all questions when we send out the recap afterward with the recording. But another question came in on how can the system be used for hotel events? Typically, the hotel will send out a validation coupon to attendees to use to exit.
Yeah, great question. This webinar and this feature within the product is mostly focused on the overnight guest user experience. You could still use this to validate a guest for a certain amount of time, right? So if somebody comes to visit a hotel for an event, or maybe they're coming to the restaurant at the hotel, you could use this solution to push a validation directly to their device for 1 or 2 hours. So there's a lot of flexibility here in how the validation types are configured. We've also seen some success from an event perspective. If you have information on the attendees ahead of time, we can text those attendees or email those attendees a specific QR code to use on the exit lane. And then that level of activity can be tracked through parkingreports.com and then either pre or post billed to the entity that is hosting that event. And that entity could be signed up as a partner within the partner portal. So they could automatically get an invoice. They could pay it with a credit card or through ACH directly through the web. You could also handle that billing process through a third party or a separate system if that's something you don't want to run through Get My Parking. So overall, providing a lot of flexibility to the hotel operator as well as the parking operator to handle those events and those different unique validation scenarios for each tenant or each client.
Thanks, Jordan. The questions are still rolling in here, so I'll keep going. We've got a few minutes left here. A question came in about what, if any, integrations with hotel software are there planned in the future?
Today, there are no integrations planned with hotel PMS systems. The overall concept here is to keep this light and lean and focus on the guest experience, where the guests have a very simple to use process to get in and out of the garage. I think another aspect of this overall platform, especially when it comes to ExpressLane, is around clear and concise signage. So Get My Parking and the Get My Parking marketing team provide white labeled signage per location for every single project that we onboard. Part of that signage package speaks directly to the guest experience. So users enter into the exit, users enter into the entry lane, gate opens up automatically. And then there's a sign that directs them where to park if it's a hotel property. Typically, hotel parking is on a specific, section or level of the garage. And then there's a recommended signage package near those spaces reserved for the hotel that highlight to the user what to do next. And that's essentially park your car, come inside, get checked in, and we'll provide you with a multi-day validation for your stay.
Great. Thanks, Jordan. Another question that came in just now, what is the implementation requirement? For example, like a PC on site with Linux and internet?
Yeah, that's also a really good question. Kind of coming back to the light and lean approach here. All of this can be managed directly through the web. So it really will depend on the hotel operator's interest in having another web page opened up on their browser on their desktop at the front desk. We've seen some success with hotels having that web page open on a separate tab. We've also seen some success with hotels having a separate iPad or an Android tablet at the front desk. You could put that in a rugged case. You could have it on a swivel so it could turn around and show the guest. The guest can just type in their number on their own, or the front desk agent could type it in for them. So lots of flexibility there. No separate PC necessarily needed unless the hotel operator is going to require that based on their firewall permissions and any kind of internal security protocols they have on their system.
All right, thank you. You're on a roll with these. We have one more question. I think you'll be able to handle this one. So it's what training and sales materials are available to me to help me pitch this?
Yeah, that's great, Chris. So after the call, the Get My Parking marketing team is going to send over a recording of the webinar. So you'll have, all of the information that we've shared as well as the presentation topic. We'll also then be posting this to the Get My Parking blog through our website. So you'll be able to refer back to this on a regular basis. Outside of that, the Get My Parking marketing team has also built out a hotel specific product sheet when it comes to this multi-day validation scenario. And that's specifically focused on the ExpressLane user experience. So it's not only an upgrade to the guest check-in and validation process, it is also an upgrade of the entire facility's user experience on entry and exit and inside the facility. On top of that, Get My Parking also has a training resource directly for the commercial operators, as well as for the hotel operator themselves. And that can be used in two different ways. One, we have a link through our admin dashboard that has user manuals for every feature and functionality on our platform. So that user manual could be consumed in short form. It's a mixture of text and a couple of short videos for an operator to be able to understand how to use the platform. On top of that, Get My Parking also assigns a key account manager to every single one of the locations that we have on the platform. And that key account manager is also responsible for doing in-depth in-person training with our clients. So we've got multiple resources from a sales as well as an operations and onboarding perspective to turn this on and be successful in any of the hotel properties you're looking to implement it in.
Great, thank you. You survived the Q&A. You made it. You made it through. I haven't seen anything else come in. As always, if you come up with questions or you didn't want to ask them in the group forum, or inevitably you come up with something after the fact, you know how to reach both Jordan and myself. I think there's a slide at the end that has our contact information. Again, that would be a shame if you don't already have that information. But we're here to help pitch anything that we can do to help you out. We do want to be respectful of your time. One of the goals of these webinars is to keep them all 30 minutes, quick hitter, short, brief topics. But hopefully this was helpful to you. We'll do the next one here in the next few weeks to a month. As always, I'm open for feedback. So if you have ideas on what you'd like to see as the next topic, please let us know. But Jordan, unless you have any other last comments, I think we'll thank everyone for their time here and participation and engagement. And we look forward to doing the next one here shortly.
That's it. Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate everybody's time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.